Hello, food for the soul, friends, fam. I don't know what to call you guys. I'm gonna try something different here. So we at Food for the Soul are really, really big into transparency, and in the spirit of transparency, Henry, the marketing and sales half of the business, kind of let things slide with our newsletter for a while. You guys. So I don't have necessarily the design skills to design newsletters in the way that this agency we were working with did, and they were doing a great job on the design front. I don't think that they embodied our voice very well. And you, the subscribers and viewers of our newsletter, probably lost touch with the business and saw a little bit more of like a pushy, salesy side of things. And I really saw that with our last newsletter about Meet the Founders. It just wasn't authentic. And both Julie and I, my mother, really it didn't resonate with us. And in fact, one of my friends sent a message out and said, "Dude, I don't think you're doing this right," and he's right. So I want to take a second to apologize and say that we lost sight of the way that we were doing things. It was an easy way to get the newsletters out and to communicate with a larger population of people that wasn't through the medium like Instagram and so on and so forth. But in the end, if you're not doing this communication in a way that's really valuable and meaningful, then what's the point? Almost better not to do any at all. So what it comes down to is I'm not a great newsletter designer, nor am I much of a writer. I digest information largely through podcast and through video and through verbal communication. So I'm going to try something here. And if it works for you guys, great. If it doesn't work, well, then I'm hoping that there's an opportunity here for us to get more communication. With Instagram, it's really, really, really easy to communicate back and forth, send DMs, that sort of thing. Through newsletters, it's it's a little bit more of like we deliver to you, and hopefully out of that, you guys learn about more about the company. You hear about sales, you hear about new products we're releasing, you get to hear about things like project inclusivity, and our efforts with allyship and inclusivity within the outdoors, which is a big pillar of our company. But I'm hoping that through this more loose format of video and verbal, that I can give you guys that information. So um, you guys should be able to reply directly to the email that we send this through. If you like it, please let me know. Um, and if not, then also let me know. Feedback is really important. It's really like the most important thing for continuous improvement. So really quick, I'm just gonna show you really around the out the corner. We got our Julie hiding over there. Hey Julie. Hello. And Julie and I in our little tiny office, uh, mostly me, will be trying to communicate to you guys and just give you the goods. So I've got two updates today. I'm hoping I can do these weekly, but today I have two updates. We'll see how things go with busy schedules and whatnot. Number one, we are doing a partnership with Adventure. It's a local company founded by Jeff Baff. He is a person with disability, which I believe is the more PC term, disabled person versus person with disability. He has developed a chair that is a very like adventure friendly wheelchair, uses mountain bike tires and wheels, has really good brake systems. It still requires the assistance of somebody to push them around. I believe he can still wheel it around himself. Um, but what he's doing is he's going down to the Grand Canyon. I think this is going to be round two for him, a redo. But he's going to bring along, I want to say, 15 people to support him in his mission to go down through the Grand Canyon. So Jeff and Uriel reached out to me. Uriel is one of his partners in crime, supporters, and said, "Hey, can Food for the Soul support us with a bunch of meals?" And I said, "Heck yeah, absolutely," because inclusivity in the outdoors is a huge part of what we believe in. Um, so we're going to send them 40 meals, and we're giving them a good discount code to supply the rest of what they need. So I believe, what did I write down? April 20th, they'll be heading out to the Grand Canyon. They'll be doing some like test dry runs in the local Central Oregon area just prior to that. Um, but it'll be a really cool opportunity for them to explore like the possibilities of this chair. So I'll include a link down below in this newsletter for where like what what his company is, and you can see the chair. It's really cool. It's this honking orange machine, and it's quite the thing. Actually, Julie had in the past had the opportunity to support Jeff in the early iteration of the chair in navigating around Smith Rock, one of our like local very craggy, cool trail areas. So maybe at some point we'll get her on and she could talk about how fun that was and what that experience is like to support somebody who would previously and otherwise not be able to access the outdoors in the way that an able-bodied person, like many of us can, So to provide that experience and be a part of that experience for Jeff, I'm sure it was a magical thing. So that's number one. Number two, if you are tuned in with our Instagram, you may have seen us mention it. We are testing mezcal as an ingredient. There's potentially some like red tape with like USDA or Department of Ag circling around that in terms of us producing a backpacking meal using mezcal as an ingredient. I don't know exactly whether it actually will work. Julie has spent the morning diving into research articles, scientific papers, so on and so forth, in terms of like how much alcohol comes out of food during the cooking process. And it may surprise y'all to find out it's actually not as the myth is like everything gets dispelled when you cook alcohol. It's not true. So there's alcohol has a lower boiling point. I want to say it's 170 and 170 something instead of 212, which the normal boiling point of water is. So there's a little bit of benefit there, but when you cook it, I think like for an hour or two, that 20% of the alcohol that you add in is still retained within the food. Granted, the meals we won't make won't have 100% alcohol content, so or will be 100% made out of alcohol, so it's not going to matter as much if we're only adding 1 ounce of alcohol to 3 4 gallon, whatever. I'm not going to tell you what we're making. That's up for you guys to decide. But we're trying to impart a smoky flavor, and mezcal seems like a really fun way to do it. So we get to do a little bit of product testing around mezcal. Cheers to that. And who knows? You guys, have the benefit now of hearing directly from me in a very like uh, unfiltered way of the things that we're doing and working and cooking up, so to speak. Um, and this is one of them. We are toying with mezcal as a smoky flavor in addition to a surprise meal. Um, okay, so that's gonna wrap up for now. I don't want to get too long and deep in it. It looks like I'm 8.5 minutes in. Um, I don't know what this format's gonna look like in the long run of things. I've always toyed with the idea of Food for the Soul, doing a podcast, doing things where we interview people. Um, but really, like, the thing that's always held me back is like fear of like, how do I do this? What does it look like? And the reality of it is you just have to take the first step, and you just have to try things and put yourself out there and see how it goes. So consider this the first iteration of Food for the Soul, trying to expand its comfort zone and its boundaries and figuring out how to communicate with people, how to figure out what you guys want, what you guys need, and making sure that we're delivering the best product we possibly can for you guys, and experience. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.